Hey, what's up, y'all? Happy Friday to you. This is Mo back on Mo TV. How's it going? Back for another week of keeping it real, keeping it locked, and just living life, experiencing, exploring, and sharing. Today, I want to talk to you guys about what it really means to be a parent. I personally do not have any children of my own. Could have many times. Unsafe sex and, being young and careless. But I thank God that I didn't, because I was not ready, and it would not have been fair to my child to have raised them without me being fully put together myself, still being young and feeling like a kid myself. Much like I do today, but I'm a lot more experienced, educated, and I guess you could say prepared if such an event were to come up before it were planned. But a major problem I've noticed in parents just throughout my years of life, whether I've lived in the South or the North or places I've traveled, people are people wherever you go. Doesn't matter where people are from, everybody travels, so it's definitely not the area of the world, it's just who people are and their personalities. But a major problem I've seen in parents is it's like nobody's a parent anymore just to be a parent. It's like every other ulterior motive. They want the respect of being a parent. They want the discounts of having kids. They want the food stamps or the extra housing or the healthcare benefits or that big tax refund at the end of the year. A bunch of props and credit that they may or may not deserve just because they decided to procreate and have a child. All the while, they may very well not even be a parent to that child. They're not loving, they're not caring, they're not understanding, intuitive. They're not in their kid's life. It's more just like the kid's a paycheck and they're a prop. And that's disgusting and despicable to me. I can also speak from my own personal experience. I never did quite get the parenting I expected or wanted, or I know all kids want. I mean, there's a common misconception that people think if I'm not rich, if I don't have a lot of money, I can't love my kid right, and that's a bunch of bullshit. The money and stuff, that's as far as your housing and your car and whatever gifts you may or may not want to give them or an allowance, but the actual love, the actual care for your child and wanting to be a parent is just the idea of I had so much love inside of myself that I wanted to have another version of myself, a child, a part of me and a part of someone I love. And with that life we create, a human being we bring into the world, we shower them with unconditional love, unconditional care, unconditional understanding, so that when they grow up and as they're growing up, we have that bond, that parent to child, child to parent love, care, and respect. I know they love me and they know I love them, and whatever problems we have, we could talk out, we could discuss. It's not about controlling someone. It's not about feeling like you're God and you created a human being. First of all, if God didn't want you to have that child, you would not be able to conceive. But that doesn't mean just because you conceived, you had your kid with the right person. I mean, usually outside of health difficulties, if somebody is able to have sex, they're usually able to procreate, outside of health concerns and issues and stuff. So, a lot of people don't care about who they have their kids with. It's all going along with what I said, just the props of, ooh, I had a kid. Ooh, I'm a parent now. Respect me. Kiss my butt because I am a parent. All the while, you may not be close to your kid, you may not be watching your kid, you might be treating your kid like your kid is a burden to you, yelling at your kid, swearing at your kid, neglecting your child, starving your kid, beating your kid. It's the worst thing in the world when you're brought into this world and you feel like you have no home life. You feel like there's no love, there's no parenting, there's no care. You're just practically a kid raising yourself. And the parent is just there to claim credit because it's like, hey, you're here because of me. Because I had sex with someone and you popped out, I am in charge of you. It's like, no. God created me, like God created you, like God created all of us. So, I just wish, and this is my ultimate faith for the future, is that when people plan to have kids and they have kids, that they actually are real parents. That you are willing to stay up late at night to help your kid with homework. That you are willing to go to those PTA meetings to meet your kids' teachers and be involved in their education. That you are not for show and just want to hug and kiss on your kid when there's an audience, but you do want to genuinely love and kiss on your child because this is my child, this is a part of me. I want the best for them, I want them to have what I didn't have, and as a good loving parent, I would want my child to know that they mean the world to me and there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. This is my faith for the future, because all I'm seeing is people want credit that they didn't deserve because they had unprotected sex. Hey, I got knocked up and I gave birth. Hey, I knocked a chick up and she gave birth to my baby. Okay, but what are you doing for that baby? What are you doing for the toddler? What are you doing for the child? What are you doing for the teenager? What are you doing for the young adult? Another problem people have is they think that, oh, when I have a kid, that's no longer my kid. When they're 18, they're grown, they're on their own. And genuinely, that's the idea, that by 18 you'd be in college or pursuing your dreams and passions and moving on to your own place. But there is no time limit on when you become a parent. You are a parent from the moment the child is conceived inside of you, and you're a parent till the day you die. Your child doesn't stop being your kid because they're suddenly a legal adult. That's ridiculous. So, no more birthday presents, no more surprises, no more care, no more Christmas presents, no more showing up, no more being there, no more love, no more sentiment. Just like, well, you're an adult now, so I was just pretending when you were a kid, but now that you're grown, you don't need all that love and parenting and stuff. It's like, sure, I'm just in this crazy world that you brought me into, and the only love I'm supposed to get from a parent is now love you want to deny me, so then I would have to seek that from the outside? No, it's ridiculous. Like, people need to understand when you become a parent, that's a lifelong commitment. It doesn't just start in the hospital and end at the end of high school graduation. It starts with conception and it ends when you die, or unfortunately, your child passes away, which is the worst thing any parent could suffer, but you're a parent till the day you die, point blank. So you always owe your kid unconditional love. You always owe your son or daughter unconditional care, unconditional support. It's one thing if you raise your child to be spoiled and they don't want to do anything for themselves, and you've gotten them enabled in a condition where you have to do their laundry, you have to get them a job, you have to pretty much live their life for them, and they just sign their name off of it. Okay, that was you being overboard and not raising your child to be independent or strong. So there's the extremes. There's the extremes of overly spoiling your child to the point they don't want to do anything for themselves and they never grow up. Or there's the point of completely neglecting, abusing, and treating your child like they're nothing to you and just a piece of shit that you picked up off the ground. There has to be that healthy medium in between where it's like, no matter how old you get, no matter how many mistakes you make, you're my child, I love you, you're living proof that dreams come true, I love you and I'm here for you. Let's talk out problems, let's reach understanding, let's compromise. Like, parenting ought to be the greatest joy in your life. Next to living your life for yourself and being happy and independent when you're single, married life and parental life should be the happiest part of your life. Because one is somebody saying they love you more than anybody else next to yourself and they want to be with you forever. And the other is, this is a child of mine. This is a person I created with my love and the love I had for someone else. A part of me forever in the world, with me. That ought to be a special, unbroken bond. And it's horrible when people feel like, oh, well, if my child is gay, then that's not my child. Or if my child is too different from me, then that's not my child. Like, how much time needs to pass throughout the history of life for people to realize we're all different? We're all our own original individuals. Except for people who go out of the way to be posers. But when you are originally you, and you're not copying anybody else, that is your right to be who you are. And how disgusting of a parent to feel like if you're different from your kid, then there's something wrong. The only thing that is wrong is you not loving your child for who they are. You not appreciating your child for the original individual they are. You not being in your right state of mind to focus on everything else that doesn't matter versus this is my child, point blank. This is the person I brought in the world. My son, my daughter, my flesh, my blood. Shouldn't be how anybody else feels or what anybody else says. That is only your child. No one else can say that. So, when you're thinking about money, when you're thinking about props and credit, when you're thinking about an audience, when you think about a show that you're trying to sell out, you really need to just focus on, how do I really show my child I love them? How does my child really feel about me? And what kind of relationship do we really have? You don't have to buy your kid a bunch of gifts. It would be nice, but you don't have to. You don't have to take your kid all over the world. It would be great, but you don't have to. But without a doubt, 150%, your child needs to always know that you would love them, that you do love them, and you would do anything to keep them safe, anything to keep them happy, anything to help their life improve. I don't know how people go through their whole lives without actually investing in their children. You never paid for school, you never paid for daycare, you never paid for activities or sports, you never took them on vacations, you never made them feel special at all. You treated them like they were burdens or workhorses. And then when they're an adult and they're working for what's theirs, you expect to claim a prize like they owe you. It's like, no. You decided to be a parent. Your child didn't ask you for life. And however good or bad you made your child's life, that's how good or bad your relationship's going to be with them. And when you get older and you thought to yourself, oh, I had kids so they could take care of me when I got older. Yeah, no, not the case, dumbass. If you didn't love your kid and you weren't there for your kid, how the fuck do you expect your kid to turn around and want to take care of you? Yeah, more like let's call in the white suits and get crazy out of here ASAP. More like let's fucking push you in the river and then that's that. Or drop you in a retirement home and never visit. People need to realize when you have a child, you need to put all the love, care, understanding, respect, and compromise in that child that you would want to have in the relationship with that child. There's no way in the world you're going to treat a child who's going to grow up to be an adult like trash, and they're going to forget that. There's no way that's not going to scar them. There's no way that's not going to affect their relationships with other people. There's no way they're going to forgive you or forget, especially if you never turn things around or apologize or realize how wrong you were. So please, people, keep in mind, when you're having a child that is a human life, a human being you're bringing into the world who starts off as a baby, but will progress through life as a toddler, a child, a teenager, a young adult, and then a full-grown adult. Our memory is built in. You cannot have a bullshit, fake-ass, horrible relationship with your child and expect to magically have them forget and then look at you and say, Mommy, Daddy, dearest, and love you and take care of you. Whatever you invest in your child is what you get out. If you abuse your child, neglect your child, call the cops on your child, do anything to hurt your child, that's coming back to you, right back to you. You need to invest in your child what you want to have from your child and in the relationship with your child. There's no going outside of that. Be real. So to all the parents out there, analyze your relationship with your children. Doesn't matter how old they are. Doesn't matter how many mistakes they've made. Were you there for them? Did you protect them? Did you provide? Do you care? Do you love them? Do they know that? Do they feel that? Y'all need to find this out for yourselves. A lot of people consult outsiders in their own personal lives, and that's a no-no. It's one thing to talk, it's one thing to bounce ideas, but it's another thing to have complete strangers deciding your life for you and how you raise your kids and how your kids are in your life. Please, people, take the time to love your children, the people you bring in this world. Take the time to take responsibility for what you've done wrong. Nobody is always right. But you will always be wrong if you always think you're right. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next Friday. Counting down the days of Christmas. Don't forget to check off things on your children's wish list. In Jesus' name I pray. Love, peace, and strength be with all of us. Deuces.